Look around you. The stress, the anger, that constant nagging feeling of just not being enough. What if I told you that you are quite literally living inside a nightmare that you never even chose? Seriously, it is a profound paradigm shift. Realizing that the anxiety and suffering we think of as just normal modern life isn't human nature at all. It's a programmed illusion. Today, we're stripping away that illusion by diving deep into the ancient Toltec wisdom laid out in Don Miguel Ruiz's masterpiece explainer, The Four Agreements.
Act I, the illusion, deconstructing the dream of the planet.
The core premise here is just staggering. Our everyday reality, the rules, the beliefs, our whole concept of what is good or bad is actually a collective conditioned dream. Ruiz calls it the dream of the planet. And the terrifying part? We were all born right into it, completely without a choice. This collective dream gets installed into our minds through a psychological process he calls domestication. You know, just like a pet is trained with treats and scoldings, human children are trained with punishment and reward. This domestication infects our psyche right from childhood, and it installs two distinct, super destructive entities in our minds: a harsh, unrelenting inner judge and a suffering victim that carries around all our shame and guilt. Right, and this creates a really sharp divide between the outside dream and the inside dream. The crushing weight of society's outside dream basically forces us to internalize its rules. We end up creating what Ruiz calls our internal book of law. And without even realizing it, we use this internal rulebook to domesticate ourselves. We punish ourselves 1,000 times over for a single mistake. But there is a way out. For centuries, ancient Toltec masters in southern Mexico, these were essentially scientists and artists of the spirit, preserved a secret, esoteric knowledge designed specifically to break this exact illusion. It survived in the shadows, just waiting for a time when humanity would desperately need it again. The Toltecs actually called this heavy mental fog the mitote. Think of it like a massive computer virus of the mind. It's 1,000 conflicting voices all talking at once in your head, totally blinding you to your true, completely free nature. Act 2, the code, breaking the spells of domestication. So, to overwrite this mental virus, the author provides a radical code of white magic. The base map consists of the 4 agreements. Number 1, be impeccable with your word. 2, don't take anything personally. 3, don't make assumptions. And 4, always do your best. These 4 simple yet incredibly demanding rules are engineered to reclaim all that personal power you've dissipated by trying to keep up with society's false dream. The real power here starts with the first agreement. Your word is pure magic, and misuse of your word is black magic. Our words aren't just empty sounds, right? They are literally spells we cast on ourselves and on everyone around us. When a parent carelessly tells a child they have an ugly singing voice, that is a dark spell. It can bind that child's potential for decades. Exactly. This dynamic breaks down into black magic versus white magic. Black magic relies heavily on gossip and self-rejection. Gossip acts exactly like a malicious computer virus, spreading poison from one mind to another. White magic, on the other hand, uses truth, self-love, and impeccability. Now, being impeccable literally means not using your words against yourself. It acts as the ultimate mental antivirus. Which perfectly sets up agreement 2, don't take anything personally. Why do we get so easily offended? Well, because taking things personally is the maximum expression of human selfishness. We instantly assume everything is about me. But the truth is, everyone is living in their own movie, directed by their own unique programming. You're really just a secondary character in their mind. And that is such a freeing realization, isn't it? Nothing other people do is because of you. It is entirely because of themselves. Avoiding personal importance grants us absolute immunity. You could be standing in the middle of modern society's hell, completely surrounded by emotional poison, and none of it will infect you. You literally become emotionally bulletproof. Which naturally brings us to agreement 3, don't make assumptions. We constantly and falsely believe our assumptions are the absolute truth. We destroy our own relationships by dreaming up entire fantasies in our heads, like assuming our partner knows exactly what we want without us even saying it, instead of just having the courage to ask for clarity. So, I have to ask, do you actually have the courage to ask questions until you're absolutely clear? It's way harder than it sounds. But replacing our assumptions with direct questions is really the only way to communicate cleanly and without all that emotional drama. It saves an immense amount of wasted energy. Finally, we hit agreement 4, Always do your best. This is the crucial anchor to the whole system. But here's the catch. Your best changes from moment to moment. Your best when you're sick and tired is going to look entirely different than your best when you're refreshed and energized. And you know what? That is perfectly okay. This agreement actively prevents your inner judge from inducing guilt, because if you always do your best in the present moment, there is simply nothing left to judge. Consider this story from the book. A man goes to a Buddhist temple and asks a master, "If I meditate 4 hours a day, how long to transcend?" The master says, 10 years. So the man says, "Well, what if I push myself and meditate 8 hours?" The master replies, 20 years. You are not here to sacrifice your joy. This brilliantly illustrates that overexertion, trying to do more than your best, actually depletes your energy and steals your joy.
Act 3, The Blueprint. Escaping the Dream of Hell.
So, how do we actually apply this blueprint to escape the societal nightmare? We follow a chronological progression of reclaiming our power. Day 1, you start by just recognizing these false agreements. Month 1, you actively begin breaking those old fear-based agreements that drain your energy. And by year 1, as you relentlessly replace them with the 4 agreements, you slowly harvest back your personal power step by step. And as you do that, heaven on earth stops being this distant religious concept and becomes a highly personal dream that you create with your own power. By adopting these 4 new agreements, the drama, the fear, the hell literally disappears from your view. A completely new reality is allowed to bloom.
As Ruiz says, instead of living in a dream of hell, you will be creating a new dream, your personal dream of heaven. This is the ultimate realization of this explainer. Supreme self-mastery isn't about controlling the outside world. It's simply about rewriting your internal code so the outside world can no longer control you.
So we'll leave you with this final thought today. Are you ready to break the agreements that keep you trapped and rewrite the code of your life? Because the power to cast off the illusion is entirely in your hands. If this explainer shifted your perspective today, make sure to subscribe and let us know in the comments.